down. This is the Mad For It podcast with the boys, Adam, Josh, and Tom, on the road to see Oasis, live at Wembley in 2025. And we know this is the dead part between Christmas and New Year, but we're still here bringing you some of the best Oasis content on the internet. Okay, it's stuff we've said before in a very, very cheaply packaged highlight show, but we're making the effort. So, lads, what have been the highlights so far of the podcast?
Well, for me, it's got to be this. You know, you haven't got me on. I'm not going to get to that 8,000 in the queue, get through and be like, oh, no, you're all right, mate. I'm going to be like, fucking yes, give me the ticket. Like,
did you feel pressurised to buy them?
No, I was excited to buy them.
Because that's like the inquiry now and like the government getting involved and stuff. Is
oh,
like,
if they're going to give me my money back, I was pressured, yeah.
You get through and you're like, oh, we said it was 150, it's now 350.
Yeah,
and you've got 8 minutes to decide and check out and put all your card details in. Like,
and I messed my card details up 3 times on film. Like we were shooting it or whatever from the phone, and I was like, oh, it's going to drop out of the basket. I was going to be so embarrassed. But then when you guys didn't get tickets, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I did it. Like it felt really good. Yeah. But again, that was just too much money. I was too keen. They did it.
You were Roy Keane, definitely.
I was Roy Keane that day, mate.
So it was funny when you messaged like, you got through, I got the tickets. I was like, great, film my celebration video. And then I can't remember who messaged, like, oh, how much was it? To your response, it was a little more than we wanted to pay. The night before, we agreed that we go up to £220.
Wait, when did we? I didn't agree with that.
We all agreed with that.
220.
220
quid. Which was the package where it was like a ticket and like some merch, which is like a keyring or something. Yeah, and definitely not going to get a shirt, are you? You're going to get like a mustache comb.
And so it came to it's a little more than we wanted to spend. And then one of us was like, how much was it? And it was 2 minutes between you sending the message.
I was trying to dry my palms because they were just.
Oh, my palms were as wet as anything.
You were trying to ring your bank manager, is what you were trying to do.
I was, yeah. I was checking my overdraft to make sure that.
Felt like Mr. Blobby had deflated. I was just like, oh my God.
But again, you paid it.
Because
you said, you know what?
We had to pay it.
I had to
money
pay
is there
it.
to be spent.
My logic was,
fuck it.
You've paid it, you've got it. It wasn't fuck it, it was all fuck. But like, I was gutted, and I was when you said I could pay Adam to get one of the cheaper tickets, I was very grateful for that. It was, I would have, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't have bought the tickets. I can't justify seeing them for that much. Not?
But it's about being the hero. It's about taking that hit, being the champion.
But that's the pressure selling. That's the pressure selling thing, right?
It is. So if anyone wants to give me whatever it is, X amount % back, like, yeah, go for it.
That's literally like, it's more than going to Glastonbury, which is the most expensive festival in the country. And you're going to see like 3 acts and have like 6 days worth of festival.
The music's all shit.
Goodness. Well, the music's good, music's bad. Like, I don't know. Like, but like, I think that's when it's like, it becomes very real when you're like, right, this is 360 quid. That's a lot of bloody money.
Nebworth.
Well, how much was Nebworth? Like 25 pence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. A classic. A classic. Wow. Wow.
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
Well, I tell you, the bit I really, really enjoyed was this one.
Here's like a story from, I used to work at a rehearsal studio and touring bands would come in. And so everyone thinks, oh, this has been planned for years. This has been planned for years. And the thing that made me realise that this wasn't kind of like a fake kind of feud was Liam was in rehearsing for one of his first album tour that came out. And we had like old Oasis posters in the hallways and stuff. And there's one in the reception as you walk in.
You just tore it down.
And well, his tour manager comes in and he's like, "Hi mate, you right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, all good." And he's like, "Could you do us a favour? Is it possible to take down the Oasis poster on the way in? It's just normally, it's like, if we get Liam in rehearsal and he's in a good mood, it works out best for everyone," he said. And I was like, "Oh, so this is real?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." The guy was like, "This is not a fake thing. This is absolutely real." So I had to go take the poster down for when he was there. And then he walked in. But like, it would put him in such a foul mood to see just to see an Oasis poster. And it's like,
but is that not the management saying these things?
No,
like,
no.
Come on, like, would he actually be in a family? He's a grown adult.
I mean, it's a great success that he had that piece.
The guy was a
great poster as well.
The guy was thinking, I want to make my crew's life a bit easier. So we're going to take any issue of putting him in a bad mood. So there's clearly something he had that he was hung up about Oasis in a way. And then I was like, oh, so it's real. Like, that's a bizarre thing. The guy's not doing it to be like, oh, this will be good. This will impress this fucking guy getting minimum wage working 6 days a week. I really want to impress this guy. So.
Well, how long ago was this? 5 years ago plus?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay.
2016, 17 is whenever Liam's first album, whatever his first tour would have been. He would have been, yeah.
Did you get to see Liam?
I
Did you
saw him
speak to
walk past. I met his band, and they were all really cool.
Was there any guys from, was it like
Bonehead?
Archer and Bonehead?
No, there wasn't any of those guys. They were
Was it
no.
the Lucky Likey Noel?
There was
he there?
I'm thinking if it's the guy who was in like a parka with like kind of like a Clem Burke from Blondie haircut, he's an American guy. It was. I tell you what, it was the same time. Remember when there was that weird sandstorm thing in the UK and the sky went yellow for about like half an hour in like 2017? That's when they were rehearsing because I was stood up on the roof. I think one of the members of the Zootons was in his band.
He caused the sandstorm.
He didn't cause the
What's that
sandstorm.
got to do with-
Darude did that.
What's that got to do with?
Nothing. That was the time I was stood on the roof looking at the sandstorm
Darude
with-
Sandstorm was number one.
with Liam Gallagher's band. And we were all just stood up looking at the roof, looking at the sandstorm. And they all seemed like really nice guys.
Wow. Love a storm. Something
Yeah.
about Rockstar Insight. So you didn't meet Liam, you didn't say hi.
I've
you didn't,
I've never met
what's
Liam.
that?
I've met Noel because he'd also come and rehearse
Should
at
we
the
do
same
the Noel
place.
story? Give
But
us
we'll
the Noel
leave
story.
that for another
Oh,
time.
okay.
Oh.
Baiting us.
Teasing. Can I ask you one question though?
Yeah.
What did you do with the poster?
I took it down and put it behind a door that was in there, so it's still there. Just took it off the wall, put it behind a door. Just guys, just one sec. Remember to like and
stop.
subscribe on YouTube, and then
please do.
subscribe to us on
Oh.
Spotify and
Yeah.
any other streaming platforms that
Please
hold
do.
us.
It's all
Apple
here.
Music, it's
Yeah.
all here.
Forget
But do
Tidal.
you know what? Here's another clip. Here's a song. I don't know if it's a Christmas song because it's not in the title. I wouldn't say it is, but I think it might have won Christmas #1 in 2000.
Right.
1999 it might have been, but it was by a little artist called Cliff Richard, and it was called Millennium Prayer.
Oh, yeah.
I class that as a New Year song because it's Auld
Yes,
Lang
yeah.
Syne,
Yeah.
and I think it might have got Christmas #1 in 1999.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
But he's just singing.
I think that's my favourite. That's my of any Christmas #1. That's my favourite. I listen to that once it hits New Year. I play Millennium Prayer every year. Not that I'm a religious man. I think it's amazing. And like, have I told you the story of my pub that I'd called the Auld Lang Syne?
Right.
Every night when it's closing up, because it's like midnight, like late on a Friday.
This is your pub in your dream
in my
head,
mind,
in your
mind.
scenario.
Showerfoot. It plays Auld Lang Syne when it hits midnight and the pub's open.
Right.
And the whole thing is it plays it every like it's
You've got to
Saturday night. It's like you've got to go to the Auld Lang Syne because it's good luck if you hear Auld Lang Syne past midnight and then go out. Gives you good luck for whatever throughout the night.
Okay.
Build this up. But the one time it doesn't play Auld Lang Syne is New Year's Eve when it plays Millennium Prayer. And that's the whole premise of my bar.
Millennium by Robbie Williams.
Fuck, I should have saved this for the New Year's episode. I might cut that whole bit out.
No,
and
it's
just...
staying in. It's staying in.
Staying in. It's
Yeah,
staying
we
in.
got nothing
Right.
to say for New Year. Right, gentlemen, should we do some presents?
Oh, man, oh, man.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to
oh.
ask you, Tom. Have you got
Yeah.
any great New Year's memories about Oasis? We haven't got time for that because we need to see this great clip.
So we've done those two. Adam, who do you want to chat about?
Well, the only other one I'd noticed was Badly Drawn Boy, who,
Oh, yeah.
again, hasn't really gone away, but is doing a 25-year anniversary tour next year as well.
5 years.
There's a funny thing with that, like the Oasis, like Don't Look Back in Anger. My dad had that Badly Drawn Boy. I can't remember what the song's called, but it's the one that's like. If you hear it.
Oh, yeah, I actually do know it.
That song, he had that album, so it was that and Simply Red, Stars album.
Mate, don't knock Simply Red. I will stand up for Simply Red in this
I love
house.
Simply Red. I've seen him live.
Have you? I'm too embarrassed to
great.
buy a ticket. Every time they come
Amazing.
around, I'm like, I can't stand
They-
there with like all the 80-year-olds, 60-year-olds.
Just
And
wait
just-
if it's the right anniversary, the right, multiple of 10
Well,
or
it was
5.
his final tour last year, and now he's back again already. So he's
Brilliant.
cashing in on the Britpop thing. But yeah, I'm too embarraused to see Simply
Oh,
Red.
you
It's
Sorry,
like
got-
it's
Simply
like,
Red were never Britpop. Come on.
no, they weren't. No, they're like late 80s,
Middle of the
yeah.
road
It's like
vibes.
yeah, that's a whole like
Yeah,
white
I mean,
funk
if you can get
disaster
a ticket and money's not too tight to
to
mention,
mention.
then you've got to get it. Like, yeah, when I saw him, it was wicked. That was the weirdest gig because I went, did a healthcare job, and I took one of the guys who I worked with to go to it. So the rule was, if you want to go, you've got to pay for the ticket with the carer. So I got to go for free, which was sick, and I like it.
Right.
And Natalie and Brulé supported.
Wow.
No
Well, there
way.
we
Yeah,
are.
which was sick.
Huge.
Wow.
But before the gig, I've never heard this before. They played because it was a greatest hits tour. They played the greatest hits before on loop, and we got there early, and it played
Of
3
the band,
times.
of Simply Red.
So it's Simply Red.
So you
song.
knew the tunes.
Yeah. So
I always wondered about that. I always thought, like, yeah, did they deliberately not do that? Or it would be a really good warm up, but that sounds like such a Simply Red thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gonna like pre-learn the songs a few
Yeah,
times
yeah.
because we only know like 2 or 3 like Fairground and Money's Too Tight and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna teach you Here's for Your Babies,
Yeah.
which I love playing to my wife to wind her up. Like Sympathy for the Woman Giving Birth. These are the songs that Oasis aren't writing. This is only Mick Hucknall can pull that kind of stuff
right,
off.
the best Mick Hucknall thing is he did an article. I can't remember what newspaper it was, but he rated his favorite races on how cool they are. And it's like it clearly came from a good place of like trying to be positive about the influence of other races around the world. But it is effectively a list. Mick Hucknall rates a race.
Oh, we've got to
It's
find
like-
that list.
It's so funny because it's so tone deaf, but it's trying to be like
How old is this?
it's about 5 years old or something.
5 years, I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
35.
No, but this was in like the kind of the wake of like social awareness and kind of things, and he's like, "Well, I'm positive. See, this is all the great things that come through." But effectively, it's Mick
Wow.
Hucknall.
Ranking race.
What was the thing he said? Didn't he say that he'd like shagged thousands
Yeah,
of women and he
yeah.
had to
Yeah.
wind that back in?
Yeah. Well, you know, again, you can always tell how influential a band is based on how big they are in France. I always find because
Right.
stuff like works in England or in the UK because we're such a small island and we take stuff like Oasis.
Mm.
Doesn't always work in America, but Japan will always like take stuff on almost in the same
yeah.
way we do,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. So then when you see stuff that works in France, it's like very different. And Simply Red are like France's
that's-
biggest.
I can
You can, it's kind of wet, it's kind of sensual, but it's
I
kind
can
of
see that.
cringe, but outdated and romantic. But you don't want to get in bed with Mick Hucknall unless you're one of these thousands of women. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you've slept with Mick Hucknall,
They were all French.
Do we know someone that's mum slept with Mick Hucknall?
I don't know.
Yes,
He-
my brother knows someone that's mum's slept or something like that.
she's
something
part of a
disgusting.
very big club.
Yeah, she is not exclusive in that manner. Yeah.
I've got one last Hucknall story.
What are we like?
I know.
Honestly,
every time,
what are
I
we like?
swear.
Some people say clip shows are lazy, and I think they're totally wrong. But let me not explain because I want to show you this clip.
So on Friday, I had got another birthday present from my wife. My birthday's in late November, so it turned out that From the Jam were playing in Shepherd's Bush. I saw Paul Weller in April. I've seen him a good few times. As a bit of a music completionist, never seen the rest of the band. So I thought, well, if I can see both of them. Actually, I saw Paul Weller in Shepherd's Bush, and these are in Shepherd's Bush. So I was like, I can see the whole band.
They were playing Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, bonkers, right? So you had a Clash band, cover band supporting, and you had what I thought was going to be some Ruts cover band, but it was the Ruts. So that was kind of cool. So then, came time, me and all the 60-year-old lads and like my little American wife were there. Like, right, here we go. So I know they've got obviously Rick Buckler on drums, Bruce Foxton on bass, and they've got some other guy that sings that turned out to be from a original Jam tribute band. And the old guys from the band were like, well, we want to get back into music. You're playing our songs. Can we jump on? And that was something that started like 25 years ago. So From the Jam have been around for probably about 20 years or whatever, 20 plus years. Went on the Facebook to see the set times before, and it was only Bruce Foxton and the singer in the Facebook header image. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe Rick Buckler's not there. Maybe he's just moved on, whatever. So lights go down. They play My Generation over the stereo for some reason to welcome the band. I was just like, okay, that's kind of, red flags are kind of tingling. I'll wait for the guys to walk out across the stage. Young lad walks out, sits behind the drums, and like, okay, Rick Buckler's not in the band. That's confirmed. Singer runs out on the stage. He goes, how are you tonight? And tonight, Johnny Sims on bass. No one from the Jam was in From the Jam. None of the Jam members were in From the Jam.
Oh, it's From the Jam, not just a cover band.
No, From the Jam is the two guys that aren't Paul Weller from the Jam.
Oh.
So not only had Rick Buckler left in 2009, which I had no idea about, Bruce Foxton had been laid up since August. So I went to see 2/3 of the Jam and no thirds of the Jam were in the band. And I remember just standing there like, oh.
Oh, that's brutal.
It was brutal. It was completely brutal.
No jam for
Like
you.
you wouldn't have gone otherwise.
Oh no, I wouldn't. No, absolutely wouldn't. Especially on a cold, rainy, Friday night, making our way all the way across the Shepherd's Bush. The trains weren't working, so we sat on a train for 40 minutes. And by the time we got there, we missed half the Clash cover band, which we were really looking forward to. So it was just like, all in all, yeah. So that's my jam story. Did not complete the jam this year. And
Wow.
he was talking during the set. He was talking as if. Not as if he was Paul Weller, because he wasn't doing the Paul Weller thing to a T, but he was talking as if it was his band, and like, oh, when I met the boys back in, and it's like, play a fucking song, play a fucking song. Every time he start talking, it'd be like, don't, you're wasting like 2 minutes of like, you could get 2 songs in there. Fucking pissed off.
How much was a ticket?
It was 35 quid a shot.
Wow.
So I think with fees, it was 78 quid.
Because that now is just a cover band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. And it wasn't on the ticket. It was actually, I got a picture. Maybe we can put it up. It's a bit late now. But I took a picture of the A4 thing taped to the door that said, Bruce Foxton isn't playing tonight. So not only did I not get one, I got none.
So has he been playing the other gigs though, and was just like ill that night?
He stopped in August.
Oh right, so not recently.
But it wasn't on the ticket. It wasn't on the website.
Yeah, because
So
nobody
from
would go.
the jam, I saw it was from the jam.
Wow.
That's
It was
like the
just
Sugar-
the singer from the jam.
Was it the Sugar Babes who did that? Like they completely changed their lineups and none of the original members are in it.
They did, but now the original lineup is reformed, but they sing songs when none of them were in the band, which is like quite weird. Like when they were all replaced, but they still sing them now, which is
They should just have 19 women on stage.
Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
all of the Sugar Babes.
Push the button. Is that Sugar Babes?
Yeah, all 20 Sugar Babes, get them on stage.
Excellent. Anyway, that actually reminded me of this.
What is going on here?
This is my new Berghaus Liam Gallagher sponsorship. He got one, so I got one.
Wait,
'cause
how did you
obviously
get
with-
hold of one?
Well, they just send them out. It's really cool. They just send them to people that are interested, and obviously the Mad for It podcast comes out every week, and they gave me one, and I think it fits pretty well. It's got everything. It's got the kind of little kind of thing going on. This is the Torpo jacket. Does anyone know what this retails for online?
I don't know.
Well, I think a bag for life's about 30p, isn't it? So
That's correct. But actually, what do you think the whole thing would cost if you were just, an everyday consumer?
What you paid or what others paid?
No, it'd be $5,000 if I paid for it. Take a guess,
I'm guessing it's a £349 jacket.
Adam.
300 quid.
400 quid.
400 quid.
There's 3 different colours and they're all sold out thanks to Liam's sponsorship. That's the hot news of the week. So yeah, I got mine. Fits pretty well. I think I'm ready for kind of anything that comes my way, basically.
I mean, I wanted one. When I saw it, I was like, I had no interest in getting one of those
Looks good.
jackets. And I saw Liam. Look at that. Have a spin. Show the hair to the fox. Show the dogs the fox. Show the hair to the cat.
Good luck editing all this crispy
Beautiful.
crunchiness out.
Listen to that.
There we
It's
are.
wonderful. So
I'll keep
little
still.
by little, folks. That's all we can say about that. But yeah, so that's good. Anyway, this is actually, we're filming this post Halloween, one day after Halloween. So that would have been a great idea.
It would have been a great idea, and this was ready for Halloween, but just walking around scaring my
There's a
wife
lot
in
of
it, it's not the
description
same. Yeah,
to
you
get-
really have to.
to
There's
tell
a lot of
people.
layers to this, and I
A
think
lot of layers to the joke. A lot of
yeah.
bags.
So fans like us really get this straight away. It's obvious,
Oh, here's one thing. The other day, right? Not even the other day. Yesterday, I was going for a walk. I was just off work, so I went for a walk in the graveyard, like behind my house,
Mhm.
and there was a bloke there, and he's like crouched behind like a grave, and I was like, I said, "Morning," and he went, "No, I'm having a shit."
Beautiful East
Yeah.
London, nothing like it.
Yeah.
I thought you meant morning as in like morning.
Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah, you got the joke. Yeah. For anyone who didn't know, yeah, morning, like good morning. No, actually, like crying. No, he's having a shit. He's having a shit.
Excellent.
This
Yeah.
isn't a true
Excellent stuff.
story.
It's not. Yeah, that isn't real. My dad said the same thing to me once.
Right, boys. So the next one, Won't Let You Down.
Yeah, should we
Yeah.
have a listen?
Fucking. All right, we'll be the judge of that. Like, bloody hell.
Won't let you down.
As long as it's not written by Andy Bell.
Oh, it's
'cause-
gonna be a bell.
I hope he's out.
Come on.
Yeah.
I hope we've got a.
We should change the name of this
Bell's
thing to
dozen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're all
this
bell
is-
ends on this podcast.
Yeah.
so.
Oh, we are. Yeah, this is going to be a Bell special episode.
Let's ring that bell.
By Flying Bells. It sounds like an Oasis tribute. Wow. Wow, that was amazing. That was so good.
Wow.
That's it's so much to unpack. Ad, do you want to just jump right in?
I mean, it's hard if you buy the CD single of Lila, and Lila's not even the worst song on the CD single. That is astonishing.
I want to listen to it again.
Yeah,
I actually want to listen to it again.
Absolutely.
That was
What
brilliant.
is going on?
That
The
was
entire
amazing.
song. What is going on with this vocal?
Incredible.
What is
I know.
happening?
Like I want to see that live. Like
Yeah.
I will listen to that one again.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
not good. It's,
Well, it's so bad it becomes good, right?
It's
like,
unbelievable.
it's in that weird space. Like, what were the lyrics? It was the same thing.
Won't let you down. Don't let you down.
yeah.
2 minutes though, in and out, brief, keeps you sweet. You know,
Yeah.
I could listen to that 4 times in this time. I could listen to whatever the awful. What was the other one? I can't even read that.
Turn down the
Turn
sun.
down-
Turn
yeah.
down for what? Oh,
No, what was the bad
Turn
one
Up the
though?
Sun.
What turn down, turn up?
You didn't like Little James?
No, what was the second one? Natala and the parking.
Nature of
Yeah,
reality.
Yeah. Oh, nature reality. Oh, that riff. Yeah. All right. Give me 14 Won't Let You Downs over that. Oh my goodness, that was incredible.
That did let us down.
It didn't. No,
Let
it
us
really
down one
didn't.
bit.
That was brilliant. So again, that was a Liam solo
Liam
effort.
special, and it's interesting. The theme here is Noel isn't anywhere near
Yeah.
most of the songs
Ah,
that anyone
so we
considers
found the
bad.
secret sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
if
want to
you
hear
didn't
what
know
people
already.
think the bad Noel songs are, but
Yeah.
this has been way more of a fun journey.
Yeah.
Can we listen to that again before we go on to the next one?
I haven't listened to Beady Eyes album, so judging from this,
Oh, that could be really fun.
Andy Bell's in that as well.
Oh, mate,
so
that is
maybe it's
that is a
that
match
and
made
that.
in heaven.
Yeah, the fucking Tin Man singing. or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
it
what was it? Didn't it was like someone doing a Liam Gallagher impression.
Badly.
Yeah, it was
Badly.
really bad for him. Like it was, just so much harder.
Do you get the impression all these songs feel like sort of tossed off at the end of a recording
I mean-
session, just being like, we need filler.
It's like it
What
was
have we got?
like a Beatles cover, Oasis cover. It was like what someone that wants to sound like Oasis sounds like. Yeah, that was incredible.
Do you think Noel Gallagher has like Tuesdays and Thursdays off? So it's up to those guys to come up with the rest of it for the recording. So they're like, well, we've got these 2 days. Fucking get in there, Liam.
And that's why the songs won't let you down, because that's what they're saying to
Yeah.
Noel when he comes back.
Don't
in
worry,
this
mate.
pile
I've
of
got,
shit.
I've got 3 chords and a tin drum with a maraca on it. We were actually talking earlier because we're going to be looking at doing B-sides, the master plan, how Oasis had like their best B-sides and they made a whole album of it. And just like the Jam and the Smiths, it was a real strength of their whole thing as a band. But this is next to like Acquiesce and Talk Tonight. And
That could have
Wow.
been the opening for Royal Family then. that could have been it. Oh man, that's interesting. That one,
Yeah.
that's good. I
Yeah.
want to see that
I'm
one.
glad we
live.
discovered that. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh,
Oh,
boys.
Oh god, are we on the Thames
boys.
Clipper? Because here's another clip.
So where did the beef between the brothers and Phil come from? How
Well,
far back does this go?
It's not. I don't think it's the brothers. It's more Noel. I assume it's exclusively Noel, but then Liam's probably jumping on his side after the fact. So it's started originally that Noel Gallagher said in an article sometime in the 90s that Phil Collins was the Antichrist.
He's not far off, right?
It seems to have started because Phil Collins knocked the Jam off #1 in the 80s with the
Brother.
song You Can't Hurry Love.
My beloved
And
Jam.
he says that he's like, he said it in some other article that his goal is to have the head of Phil Collins in his fridge by the end of the decade. So he's really gunning for Phil Collins.
Wow, no
And
holds
I
barred.
think this was exclusively a one-way feud for a long time.
Sure, definitely.
And Phil Collins is just like, I like Phil Collins. Do you guys like Phil Collins?
Definitely not. I was not allowed to listen to 2 people at home, and it was Phil Collins and U2.
Well,
I was
your
banned.
dad was a big Jam fan,
He
so
was a
that
huge
explains
Jam
it. He
fan.
knocked him off #1 with You Can't Hurry Love.
Yeah, I think that might have been the catalyst.
Human.
And I think Genesis were a bit too like proggy and weird and awkward for anyone.
Well, they were till old Peter Gabriel left,
right,
and then it's just Phil Collins with a band.
right, okay.
So, but I like Phil Collins like enough to buy a. I bought this decided to talk about this. I bought this as a fan. Like I like Phil Collins. There's like there's him playing in like Berlin or something in like the early 90s.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's up there. He's got like his shirt, his little baldy thing. He's playing drums to start, and he comes out and just like the hip swing. I mean, he's lame as anything. He's
Yeah, it's
the whitest
very-
bloke in the world.
It's proper
called
50s,
Phil.
wasn't it? Yeah, Phil.
It's like
Where'd you go?
Phil. Oh, the front there, Phil's in.
Wow, Phil's in.
But
Philip.
he is the 80s.
Did you know Phil Collins actually a stage name?
Is it? What's he called?
No, it's
Oh, right.
Simon. Simon Collins.
yeah.
Even cooler.
Colin Phils.
But yeah, so I'm a fan of Phil Collins. I don't take offence to Noel's comments. Not one bit.
You still
They're
Team Noel?
They're obviously deliberately jokey, right? They're over the top, but to me, compared to some of the other ones that maybe we'll get onto, which seem a bit like cruel spirited,
Yeah.
like having his head in my
Yeah.
fridge is obviously like a silly thing. You
Yeah.
don't actually
Yeah.
want that. It's
Yeah.
he's making a joke.
He's
really.
a mid 20-year-old lad at the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're making music, and Phil Collins is the music before them. So it's definitely coming out of a sense of, oh, that's lame, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
buttoned down.
Well, with
Corny.
Phil, you can tell that it's like what Alan Partridge would call a soft target.
Yeah,
You know, like
exactly.
he's not going to fight back, and if he does, everyone's on Noel's side. Like throughout history, you know.
So that Phil did fight back one time. Well, I think he's mentioned it a couple of times, but one of the times he was on Room 101.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
can't
Yes, I
remember
did
if
see
it was
this.
with Frank Skinner at the time or whoever did it before. Who did it?
Was it Phil
Paul
Jupiter's?
Merton.
Was
Paul
it
Merton.
Paul
did it.
Merton?
Paul Merton.
Paul
Yeah, he was
Merton
probably
did
with
it.
old PM
Yeah.
when he was doing it.
PC and PM.
And he put Phil Collins, no, he didn't put Phil, he put Noel
Noel
Gallagher or Oasis
Yeah.
into Room
Yeah.
101.
Yeah.
And yeah, his comments were just like, yeah, they're shit to me for no reason whatsoever. And yeah, they just say all these remarks to him.
So he has taken it to heart then. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
there saying, it seems like flippant to me, but obviously Phil has taken it to heart if he's going onto television and
Yeah.
slacking
Well,
them off.
he'd be in the newspapers, right? If someone's we're talking about Phil Collins because of that. So I mean, it definitely worked as
Yeah.
far as that goes. With Room 101, did you have to put stuff in? Could you nominate stuff and then talk yourself down? That's how I remember
I
it.
think you nominated it, and then the presenter decided, or the audience decided,
Uh,
and then it would go down, or they'd like
ah.
rescue it. So
yeah, so Oasis went in. They were gone.
they actually went in though.
They went
Yeah.
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
people
But
won them.
so yeah, Phil Collins did say something about it. He was like, they keep having a pop at me, and I don't know why. It's kind of like you're bullied, like, and you don't know the people, and everybody's going like, oh, yeah, and then you add 7. There's probably people yelling, "You shit, Phil! Phil Collins
Yeah.
is wank," and it's all like younger guys who are into Oasis because he basically was Mr. 8. He was like one of the kings of the 80s. It's like Michael Jackson, Phil Collins, hand in hand, the powerhouse.
I guess so. You couldn't get away from it. That means one thing. I mean, in South Park they did an episode where for some reason Phil Collins was a hill. I think it was called Phil Collins Hill, and you would race toboggans down it, but it was never like mentioned
Yeah.
specifically. So anyone can just rip the piss out of him for any reason.
But so he was like, yeah, he wasn't too happy with it. He said that they think they've got more talent than they do. And yeah, he said something else. They're greater than they are, and they're not as talented or something. And it's like, because he did his memoir, and I listened to the audio version
Right.
of that one specific bit of him talking about
So you haven't
it.
got the book. We're not going to get Phil Collins' memoir on the desk.
No, I'd read
Okay.
it though.
They just have a drum beat in the background. The
Yeah.
whole audiobook.
He stops
Yeah.
to do a solo like
Yeah,
between
yeah.
each chapter. But he goes on about he liked Oasis, I think, when they came out. He was like, "Oh, this is cool. It's like interesting." And then I think he heard about the Phil Collins is the Antichrist. And he was
That
like,
was
that's
it.
a bit odd.
That was it. He was gone.
Yeah, he was like, oh, that's a bit odd. Like, that's unfair. Like, what's he doing? He's a 40-something-year-old bloke who was king of the world. And then there's not much, there's some more remarks. But then he was on holiday somewhere. And he'd go to this bar every day.
Hmm.
And the owner was like, oh, he went up to him. He tells it in such like a really like old manny way of like if you had like a grandparent and went somewhere like, oh, you should have some music in here. You should get some music playing each night. And the bar guy was like, the bar owner was like, it's a great idea. And Phil was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll come up, I'll play some drums and sing. We'll get like a band together. And then a few nights later, a few weeks later after they were setting it up, he was going to do it, I think, that night. And then Noel Gallagher was in there with his ex-wife or his wife or his girlfriend or something at the time. And I think it was Kate Moss.
Hmm.
And Phil Collins is there. And he's like, about he's going to go up and do this like live performance, and he goes over and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to ask Noel if he wants to join in." So he's probably gone over. He's like, "Oh, you're right, chaps. How's it going? How's your night going?" And then they were literally just so rude to him, like Noel Gallagher, and his girlfriend was like, "You're shit." Noel Gallagher's girlfriend was just outright like, "You're crap. You're what's wrong with music or something." And it's like Noel Gallagher's just that, like not Noel Gallagher. Phil Collins is just like come up, being a nice guy, and there's like these younger people, and they're like, "Oh well, it can't be as bad. It's all just hearsay." And then you're on holiday. He's like lives out there, and you come, and then the bully that you've been hearing about who's calling you shit is there, and then they call you shit to your face and kind of embarrass you in the place, your safe space. And then he's like, "Oh whatever." He left it. He says he gave it no notice, and then Kate Moss came up, and he was at the bar and was like apologizing for it. So she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." She probably loves Phil Collins. And it's like, "Oh yeah, they're a bit out of order, aren't they?" And then it was like, whatever. So he went off to go play, and they left or something. I think they said that they're like, "There's no way we'd want to." He put the offer out there, and they're like, "Fuck off," basically.
Be like the emptiest bar in Mallorca if Phil Collins was playing
right.
every night. We'd drive customers away.
Everyone having egg and chips and
Yeah.
then leaving.
And then he went up to play, and I think he started playing, and they left or something,
can see
or they
it.
left before, and it's like,
What
he's
is
like,
this bar? Like, we need to
It's-
go there and to have a look
Yeah,
at it.
I
Like,
don't think we could afford to go there.
Expo
if, like,
report.
multi-millionaires of the 90s are going there. It's
they
not
were-
in.
they
It's
were
not
real
in
lads,
Canberra
though.
Sands
They were
or
real lads,
Lanzarote.
yeah. It'll be, yeah.
So you got
Lanzarote
Only
somewhere.
Falls on the TV and everything.
Wow, boys, I think I'm actually laughed out for this year. I think we've had too many yucks
Well,
for this
that's it,
special
innit?
episode.
It's just good, isn't
Too
it?
many
It's good
laughs.
stuff.
Yeah. But all I can say is remember to like us, subscribe, watch us on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify and all those other platforms as well. And we'll be back in the new year with more great episodes, including this clip. No, I'm joking. We'll be back in the new year with the boys on the road to Oasis live in 2025.
Mad
See ya.
for it.